Hey Pyro, today I want to show you all the ins and outs of the Colwood Super Pro machine. It is a popular wood burning machine and it is among my favorites. I love the Colwood brand. I feel like they are really easy to use. But I don't want to get into that just yet. I'm going to tell you more about it here in just a moment. Before we get into this review, I highly recommend that you go check out our sponsor, Bearwood Supply Company. I absolutely love them and I have recommended Pyros to them for years. And I highly recommend that you go check them out too because they are a fantastic resource for Pyros like you and me. They also have fun things like epoxy and Odie's oil. They've got a lot of really great tools for all of us Pyros. The link is in the description for you to make it really easy to find. Remember to use coupon code SAVVY to get a discount. That's SAVVY. I'm Jannie Lisenby, your Pyro professor. Let's burn. Okay, so the Colwood Super Pro II is one of their higher heating machines. There are different levels of heat with every Colwood machine, and this machine is the third level up. So you have the Colwood Cub, then you have the Colwood Detailer. This is the Colwood Super Pro II. It is another one of their professional machines, and this is one of my go-to machines for when I am burning higher heat items. The Super Pro will burn it easily and burn it quickly, and that's one thing that is a real benefit to the Super Pro. It burns exceptionally hot. Of course, it has the plug, and this ships internationally. I'm in the United States, but if you are not in the United States, you can look up plugs and order those separately in order to make this plug adaptable to your country. Something that sets the Super Pro apart is that this machine is a dual burner. So it has two wires that you can burn from. Another thing I really love about these Colwood wires is that they are flexible. Some of the wires that you can buy from different machines are a little more stiff. They're a little harder to work with. These wires are a little more malleable. And that's really nice so that when you are working on something, if you need to turn your hand a certain direction, the wire doesn't fight you as much, okay? If it's a stiffer wire, that wire is going to fight your hand. These cords are very long, and that is really, really great when I'm working either on a large project or when I'm working on something that's not very close to the wall, like my desk isn't sitting right up against the wall. These longer cords allow me a lot more mobility, a lot more freedom, and I can burn at a decent distance from the Super Pro if I need to. And the cord here that plugs in is also very long, and that's really nice because then I don't have to sit right next to the wall in order to burn, and I don't need an extension cord if my desk is close to the outlet. Being a dual burner, you have different wires to work with, okay? You have your regular standard wire and you have your heavy wire. The differences here are the heavy wire, which is always marked in red, that is going to carry more heat to the nib. And the reason for that is because of the thickness of the wire. The gauge of the wire makes a huge difference, okay? A lot of people think it's the wattage or, you know, something, the voltage that the machine uses. That's not the case. That just tells you how much power that you have to pull from the wall. What this does is it conducts the heat. So here it is a lower heat. So if you're looking to do finer shading or details, you want to use one of these finer wired cords. If you're looking to do heavy duty burns, darker burns, things that require more heat, you definitely want to have the heavy wire. And this allows you to easily go between the two, between fine detail and heavy burning. You have a simple on-off switch, and then you switch between the detailed cord, which we just explained, and the heavy duty cord over here, okay? And that way you only have one burner on at a time. You don't have to worry about a second burner burning while you're not using it. And if you use two separate kinds of nibs regularly, then this makes it easy. You could just keep the different nibs set there already. It does have a very nice range of heat. And this, of course, has different heat settings from 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, 0 being the lowest. Unlike the Colwood Detailer, this does not burn the softwoods as toasty. Generally, even down at a 1, softwoods like basswood or poplar, things like that, they will burn a lot faster than things like cherry wood or maple. So if you are burning a softer wood, this is going to give you a nice dark burn as opposed to a toasty burn. If you're using harder woods like the cherry wood or the maple or the walnut, then these can give you a more toasty look. And I'll give you a demonstration here at the end of the video. I absolutely love how easy this is to use. You simply plug it into the wall, plug the pens in to the cords, and if you have a replaceable tip, then you simply plug in a new tip and you're ready to go. It's so easy. It's so simple. I also love how low profile this is. The Super Pro is a little bit larger than the Detailer, but not by much. And I love having a small profile burner on the table that has that stand just built in, and it's super small and compact, so that if I have a mess on the table, I'm not super worried about where my burner is. I'm not worried about my burner falling over, the pen falling over, the stand falling over. Instead, it's in one clean, concise little package. I love it. When you are plugging in a pen, you want to make sure that it is not just sitting like that. That's not plugged in. You need it all the way seated, all the way in there. That secure connection is going to give you a solid heat. If you don't have that secure, you might not get consistent heat. So make sure that that's totally plugged in. You have a choice between a fixed tip pen, or you can use a replaceable tip pen. Again, make sure it is fully seated when you are plugging that in. Then you can choose different types of nibs to put into the pen. You simply line up this little ridge with this little notch. Once it's lined up, it slides in beautifully. Then if you want to switch it, you grab these easy pull tweezers and you pull it right out like so and choose a different nib to place in. Again, lining up the little groove with the little notch. Now, as with most professional machines, each kit is going to come with a different set of nibs. Now, my top favorites are the large point, which is basically a large knife point, the writing nib, which is really good, obviously, for writing and also drawing line art and lettering. This one is the large round shader, the S tip, and this is a ballpoint. And the ballpoint, this one is a medium ballpoint, but you can get the small one, the ball 1, or you can get the large, the ball 3. And if you are looking for more fine detail, I like to use the small heavy shader, the micro writer, the needle point, the micro rounded heel, and the long spade shader. Much like the Super Pro's little sister, the Colwood Detailer, I love how consistent the heat is. The heat is always reliable. I know that when I set this to a level 3, it's going to be a level 3. If I set it to a level 10, it's going to be at that level 10. I rarely use the 10 on the Super Pro. Just putting that out there. I don't think I even get up to the 8s typically, or even the 7s. So something to consider is how hot you actually need your burning tool to be. But I love that these are always labeled, that you always have high heat versus standard heat. I love that this has a metal casing and that it is sturdy. So it's not going anywhere. The stands are super sturdy. They don't slide, they don't move anywhere. They are secure. And sometimes some of the professional machines will have a stand and you put it in there. Now this slides and that's fine, but some of them are really wiggly in there. I don't like that. This holds it fairly nicely without holding it to the point where I can't hardly get it out. All the pens come with cork to protect the fingers from heat, which is a really nice feature. Now, when it comes to the ergonomics of the pen, I absolutely love it. When you compare this to, say, the True Art or the Burnmaster, you can see how thick these are. Now, for me, I don't prefer that thickness. I like it to feel a little bit more like I'm working with a pen. And when you are working with a razor tip or an Optima, those have nice thin pens just like the Colwood does. However, I find that the razor tip pens get a little bit hotter than the Colwood pen does. These release heat over here on my hand, whereas this does not have any of these venting holes. And so this does not release the heat on my hand. And I appreciate that. Colwood has a lot of wonderful nib options. I think they're really fantastic. But if there's a particular nib that you love that happens to be an Optima or it happens to be a Burnmaster, the good news is those are completely adaptable with the Colwood. So you can use an Optima pen on a Colwood machine, or you can use a Burnmaster pen on a Colwood machine. So that's really nice. Now, if you wanted to use a razor tip pen, which is also a popular brand, then all you need is a little adapter. You plug that into the pen. Suddenly, that pen is now compatible with a Colwood. Unfortunately, with pens like the TrueArt and the Tech Chic, these pens are not interchangeable. You can only replace the nibs, and those nibs are not compatible with a pen like this. If you found value in this video so far, it'd be amazing if you'd hit that little like button, and then let me know in the comments what it is that's been most helpful for you to learn. Now, I always like to give the pros and the cons. So you just heard all of the pros. Now I want to tell you some of the downsides to getting the Super Pro. For a lot of people, the Super Pro is simply too hot. If you're going to be burning those softer woods and you want to get shading, you need to get a nice gradient in there. It's hard to do with this machine. You have to work at a faster pace in order to get that. So then you need to have more professional skills if you're going to be burning softer woods and doing shading that requires a lighter, toastier look. The dual burners. To me, that concerns me. Personally, I don't love dual burners. I know a lot of people do, and I used to want one until I got one. And then I realized I don't like it. And the reason for that is because sometimes I don't realize which pen is on, and you want to keep everything clear of your wood burning tool. And I feel like I have two spots that I have to make sure are clear instead of just one. I feel like the extra wires clutter up my desk a little bit. I like to have more space. I like the burner to take up less space because everything else is what I'm doing. It's what I'm working on. And these extra wires, I feel like just kind of take up that space. So if I'm trying to use this one, I got to get this wire out of the way. It's not a big deal. It's really, really not, but it bothers me. So I don't prefer the dual burners. But again, everybody's different. So what I prefer may not be what you prefer. And of course, the price level. I know a lot of people need a cheaper machine, but understand that you do get what you pay for when you pay for those cheaper machines. You do not get the high quality standard that this Colwood has. And a lot of the other comparable machines are actually pricier. And the Super Pro is a little bit pricier than, say, the Detailer or the Cub. And so it is a little bit on that higher end, but it is still not as expensive as some of the other name brand wood burning machines. As promised, I want to show you a little bit how this burner burns. Now, I am using basswood and I'm testing the heat here. So that is a level 1. And then I am adjusting the heat and turning it up as we go. That way we can see the different heat levels that this machine has. Again, as I said before, the heat range is fantastic for the Super Pro, but it doesn't really shine on the softwoods because the softwoods tend to burn really darkly at a lower heat. And you can see at this heat level, it is burning through the wood grain off to the right-hand side. It is so hot. Now, if you intend to burn hardwoods and bone and gourds and other high heat items, then this might be the burner for you. But if you're planning to burn softwoods and you're planning to do toasty, light colored burns, then you might consider something with a little bit of a lower heat range. And heat range is one of 4 things that I encourage you to look for when you are shopping for a wood burning machine. Price range is the next one. Compared to the Colwood Detailer, the Super Pro is more expensive. However, when you compare it to other brands, this is still very inexpensive and on the middle to lower end of the price range. The next thing you want to look for is ease of use. And I would rate this as very easy to use. You pretty much just plug in the machine, plug in the pen, plug in a nib if you don't have a fixed tip, and you're ready to go. It's extremely easy to use. And the last element that I would have you look for is reliability. You want reliable heat. And I do get consistent, reliable heat every time I use the Colwood Super Pro. Now, once you have chosen your machine, it's really important to test out the heat at the different levels and with different nibs. Once you're done with that exercise, you will know your machine so much better. And once you know your machine, you'll be ready to take on projects like we do in the Burn Savvy channel membership, where we have exclusive tutorials that are not available to the public. So go check that out and go see which membership level suits you best. You can also join the Crate Club, which is my monthly subscription box for wood-burning artists and crafters. You get a box delivered straight to your door every month. And it's got all of the materials that you need to make a masterpiece from start to finish. It's fantastic. And if you want to check that out, that's over at crateclub.burnsavvy.com. In the end, I would say that the Super Pro is an excellent machine at an excellent price that's easy to use, reliable, and has an excellent heat range. And I highly recommend that you get it from our sponsor, Bearwood Supply Company. The link is in the description, and you can use coupon code SAVVY to get a discount. If you're not done shopping for wood burning tools, you may want to check out this video next. I do have more wood burning reviews coming out very soon, so you may want to subscribe. And remember to join me in the Pyro family in the Burn Savvy channel membership. I will see you there. I'm Jannie Lisenby, your Pyro professor. Later, Pyro.